And so I have to constantly be on guard, making choices similar to that. Life, not one day is ever easy for me, but there is not one day of life that I would ever take back. No matter what I had been through, no matter the attacks, it is because I was able to go through that I am absolutely aware that I am that I am. And in that awareness, it affords me a degree of peace that surpasses all understanding. See, if you don't have this level of peace, you could never imagine what I mean. That I would not change one single thing. The law of requirement states clearly that you must do what is required to have a thing. That is the magic of getting anything. You do what's required and you get the thing. These are the universal laws of nature. And so why, when you find yourself doing what is required at that job where you got hired, are you not able to do what it is that your work should afford you? Somebody has played a cruel trick. They thought that they were nickel slick. But like the old folks say, baby, your penny already been changed. See, we all understand that we are living in the last days. We understand that we have been in the wilderness, stuck in a never-ending maze until the days of the days of the days when God said, I'm going to bring mine on home. We are standing in that glorious time right now. We are living in the moment when the God body has touched down. We are living in the moment where the message of heaven has finally hit the ground. We are living in the light of the new day. We are about to establish an entirely new way of doing everything we ever did before. And we're going to do it so much better today. I love the fact that I recognize, because of the books that was written by so many other guys, leaving clues but never ever telling you all of what it was that needed to be known, because if you would have known everything that would be known, well then, that would be a lot of power to have given away. But suffice it to say, there was a lot of power left at your disposal for every single day. But I know how hard the road is. Just got down off the cross the other day. We are one body, eternally existed in one God. Many members, many different functioning parts. They liken him to a house with many rooms, a body with many cells. And just like the cells in your bodies have life, the cells of God's body has life. But if the cells in the body believe that in order for it to have life, it needs something other than itself, well, the body is going to die and suffer to itself. We are but one body and nothing else. And so the significance of the story of Christ, why it has never been able to be dissipated, is because when you understand that we are but one body, never possible for us to be separated. And that's why he took the pain for all men. See, as long as we stay on the cross, we are all suffering. But because we are just but one body, one day I was thinking to myself, well, what if I just come down off that cross? Do we need anybody else? And I freed myself. And with that God-given power, restored my health. Returning back to my youthful self. Ready, willing, and able to care for myself. For you see, I have learned that if I simply would love me, well, that's not a job for anybody else, you see. And guess how much time they would have to just be free? If all they ever had to do was really just learn to love me. And I don't care who you be on this planet. Look in the mirror. Everybody got me. We have to learn the order of operations of things spiritually. See, if you did a math problem and you did not apply PEMDAS, well, you might not get the right answer at the end. You might not get the wrong one either. But it's more likely that you're not going to get the right answer in the end. Because the order of operation matters. And if we are living our lives out of order, thinking that we are supposed to be life role supporters, well, we are falling short of being God's sons and daughters. And so we have given God this corrupt identity, made him into something that God would never be. Dysfunctional. Like the parents that raised you and me. I gotta give credit to where credit is due. That came from Crying Master videos I was watching on YouTube sometime. When I was trying to break out of this fog. But God is not a dysfunctional parent. God is the overarching body for which we are the cells of. Each cell activated by the power of love. Not a feeling, but the way of being. See, love has nothing to do with how I feel or think about you. Love has no concern with such trivial things. The unction and the function of love is to activate the human's DNA. To be the epicenter of a joyful and ever youthful spring of life. But we've been taught to worship and take care of outside. So when our kids come, you have parents who really think that their children are here to serve them. Well, if I'm made in the image and after the likeness of God, and I've been taught that God wants me to serve him, well, what more do I want my children to do? Because what would God want? But now, like with anything, varying degrees of the same thing. You can't, the universal law of degrees say that we are varying degrees of the same thing. And so, If we can go all the way to the biggest macro scale of God the Father, down to the child, and you look at the space in between that. As a child, did you want to be a servant to your parents? As a slave, did you want to be a servant to your master? And if God sent his son to set the captive free, why would God of everything need the thing that he created to be like him, to then turn around and worship him? Who does God worship? This is the dissonance that we are living in. But that book says to reason with a sound mind. Varying degrees of the same thing. Made in his image and after his likeness. Who does God worship? Who does it benefit to be worshipped? Who needs that? An almighty, everlasting, eternal God that created everything and made you in his image and after his likeness. I want you to look like me. I want you to be like me. I don't worship anything. What is he asking you to worship, please? Does that sound like that lines up with the true? We have a symbiotic relationship. If God is going to worship anything, it would be himself. And over and over and over, as I scour through these scriptures, and everybody that knows me knows my preference is the Bible. I have no objection to any spiritual text. I believe that there is truth in every ounce of everything. And the only thing that you should be focused on is what is the truth and how to discern it. And if you do not understand how to read a parable and make the parable make sense, don't act like you do, because it does not serve you. But it is wake up time now. We have to forgive ourselves because we have all from have all been following behind a backwards choice. Following a backwards choice. We have based our rules on what we believe in the story to be a person in a fallen state. We have lived our lives in a fallen state. And even when great spiritual beings, teachers, energies have come to this place to model because we are where we are in time, and you think about it, time is really illusionary, it's not real. And so it is, how long is it going to take to learn these things? How long is it going to take us to recognize the power that we actually have? How long is it for us to realize that when the story of Christ is telling us that for one of us to be willing to make the sacrifice for all of us, that once you see how to do it, then you then do it, and so we all bear the cross. And so in us, we have our higher spiritual self, and we have our physical lower self, and it makes a vertical line between us. And the moment two come together to make one, we are a body. We are a unit. We are officially on the microcosm. We are a unit of God. That unit right there, the two come together to make one. One and one make three. That is the representation of your Trinity. Those threes, that is what that represents. That when one and one come together to make three, that is a unit of God. So the Father, we can't, the patriarchs took the idea of mother. One can't have mother, so because it's patriarchal. But the Father, the mother, and the child. Father, Spirit, Father, Son, Spirit, Father, Mother, Child. You see how it translates. Varying degrees of the same thing. It's like when you think about patterns of things, they repeat in energy. Like even just our vibration is just, the vibration is creating this. You hear scientists talk about it all the time. Like we're vibrating so fast. We're on a dense plane, and so we're, it's. I remember when my kids were little, and I would use the example of like, okay, if you flap. Let me just get. See, I always write on everything. Everything has something. But let's see, maybe I can fold something in half today. So I have an empty page somewhere on here for you just to. Alright. I'm trying to put just a teeny bit of weight on it so it could actually do, hopefully demonstrate what I'm trying to present. But if I'm vibrating this slow, or let me even go slower. I'm vibrating like this. It's very visible. But as the vibration gets higher, you see less and less of it. Right? This is what life is. That is the example of life in its varying degrees. And it goes from this very dense experience to the decaying process of the physical form. But this part of you that vibrates, this is like I don't want to say avatar because I don't want to sound, but it's like a suit. It's your tool. It's your weapon. It's your armor. But in how are you using the armor? You have to make effective use of the armor. Yeah, I am recording. Yeah, gotta make sure I'm checking because it's just me here. Oh, that's why I have a mirror. I'll put a mirror up so I can be able to check and make sure I can see. I gotta remember these things. Well, I'm going to be able to really see now myself. Oh, yeah. So, anyway, back to what I was saying. I'm going to put this a little bit better place right here. Let's see. I'm looking a little bit crazy, wide-eyed. Anyhow. But the point being is that we are all parts of one another. We actually have more functions with one another than just procreating. Because we all, as soon as two come together, they make one whole thing, right? You have this whole being. This whole being can create things. This can create things. It's like they can manufacture, like make it with themselves. Create, like in that sense. And then they can co-create. People working one to another. And so that's when it's two people, and they're just working together. And then there is the job that marriage serves, and it's to procreate. And that's where you're back, like if you remember in science class how it would be like the gene, it got to split off, and then, it's kind of like that. It's like, all right, well, I can create in my whole being. I never have to procreate, just because I'm a whole being, two to make one. I'm here. This is a 3 unit now. If we learn how to work with each other, we are a unit of God. But that we really do need to learn that. It's work, but it's our work. But as this individual me, I can create. So I paint, I write, the things that I enjoy. People do art. I mean, like sculpt, or they play sports or whatever. They enjoy that. It's like they're creating. They create the value of life that they have. They on so many levels, creation is happening. That's the best way I could put it. You all live it like I do. And then we can co-create. We can get together, collaborate, and create things together. 2 or more people can do that. So where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am in the midst. I'm present when you guys are working together, and now it's a co-creation. Always remembering that He gave us dominion and power. Never forget it. So in that whole self, you have dominion and power. You do not need another person to be whole. You came whole. What was required was the 2 to make you one. And then, of course, procreation, where 1 and 1 come together to make 3. And these are different levels of creation, 3 different levels of creation, and it makes sense that because it's a repeat, like everything is a sequence of numbers repeating over and over and over. And once you start to see the pattern, it exists and it doesn't disappear because it's not conveniently there. It is there because it's proportionally showing you this is this is this. And so it's like, okay, wake up time. We got to start having a real class. We got to start talking about what is it that we're missing? What is robbing us from our abundance? What are we doing that we make enemies out of our loved ones? That we conspire to hurt one another versus allowing each other to love one another, which that is what we're commanded to do. You love your neighbor as you would love yourself. You love your family as you would love yourself. And so when what you are highlighting, because through all of the maniacal things that people do to the light body, because you feel like you're getting kicks and giggles because you think you can't be seen, but what you are illuminating is just how little you care about yourself. How little you value you